What a fantastic day today. I'm speaking to a true star, John Dwyer. You look him up because you're going to be surprised. He's the founder of the Wow Institute. It's a marketing agency that wows lots of customers of huge and small companies all around the world. I read one of the reviews of one of his customers, and it was from an Australian bank. And the wow factor that John advised the Australian bank to adopt is to offer free vacations to people who want to take a home loan. And this bank went berserk. It had so many clients, it's unbelievable. So that's the wow factor. Hi, welcome, John.
Thank you very much. Yes, and in fact, that particular case study I normally quote because you know how sometimes the entertainers will have a hit record and everybody wants to hear that hit record. Well, I guess my number one success in terms of sales promotions over the years was this particular bank. Look, it's not a small business. It's the 250th biggest business in Australia, but they weren't as big as the big four banks. And like in America, the Wells Fargo would be the big bank, and these guys weren't anywhere near them. And yet they were trying to beat them on home loan interest rates. And when they put me on as a consultant, I said, look, you're a challenger brand. You're not going to beat the big guys on price. So why don't you actually stop your honeymoon rate, which is an offer that every bank gives where they say, look, you get 1% off for the first year of your home loan, and give that to a travel company and then basically tell people get a home loan from you and they get a free vacation. And they took an extra $15 billion worth of home loans in the first 3 years. And this idiot who you're talking to didn't put his hand up for a percentage deal. I just charged a monthly fee.
Hi, I'm Zorina Dimitrova, and welcome to the Grownlearn Podcast. Here I host thought leaders on business growth, transformation, leadership, and succeeding in life and business with a human focus. At Grownlearn, we are the only ones offering uniquely customized solutions to business needs using a cutting-edge AI business growth assessment tool and a global network of top-tier experts to craft and execute strategies that drive impactful results. If you're ready to grow smarter, book a call today at grownlearn.org and let's transform your business together. Enjoy this episode. John, you've been all around the media in Australia. You're based in Australia, so I'm not going to quote all the famous media channels, but why are they calling you? What's so special about your approach?
Look, we're called the Institute of Wow.com. So if anyone wants to see what I do, it's the Institute of Wow.com. And as that name infers, it's all about teaching businesses to have a wow factor to distinguish their products or services from the competitors. And you know what? Not many people use a wow factor. Apple phones, they don't need my help. They've already got a wow factor. But for most businesses that are me too, in other words, they're like all the other businesses, like a solar dealership or like an electrician or maybe a plumber or a furniture shop who have got pretty much the same stuff as all their competitors, what we teach them is to use an artificial wow factor. So just like that bank used an artificial wow factor, and that is get a home loan, get a free vacation. And by the way, look, 3 or 4 years into that, I got Jerry Seinfeld to do their ads. So that took it to another level. You get Seinfeld involved in an advertising campaign and it's pretty much a surefire hit. But it was even a hit for 3 or 4 years before he came along. So the wow factor of having a Happy Meal toy with your home loan just catapulted that bank out there from anyone else. Because a home loan is a home loan is a home loan. The money looks exactly the same from the Wells Fargo bank as it does from any other bank. So therefore, they don't have any peculiar wow factor like an iPhone. So what we teach businesses is to come up with a Happy Meal toy, come up with something that's going to distinguish you from your opposition.
Is it always a giveaway? Like in this case, it's an upfront investment on the part of the bank, but how does it work for smaller companies that don't have the funds to invest in an upfront marketing campaign?
Yeah, look, it doesn't have to be always a Happy Meal toy. I call it a Happy Meal toy because when people say to me, what do you mean by incentive? And I say, look, I've got 6 children. They're all grown up and they're millennials now. They've got their own little children. But we had 6 children under 12 at one stage, and we gave McDonald's about $7 gazillion because of the toy in the Happy Meal. Had nothing at all to do with the meal. The kids would throw the hamburger away. It was all about the toy that took our eyes off the price. And so I say to businesses, look, try and think of an incentive that suits your audience. For example, I'm a baby boomer. So if I walked into a shop and bought a sports jacket and they gave me a skateboard, then they're idiots, because skateboard is not going to be appropriate for me.
Mm-hmm.
But if they gave me a movie voucher or they gave me a dining voucher, then that would make sense. And so therefore, as long as your incentive is, pertinent to the target audience, then it makes sense. And incidentally, after the Seinfeld holiday thing with this bank down under, we joined forces with a vacation company. And what we do now is we give businesses the opportunity to give away a free vacation of 3 to 7 nights anywhere in America, Europe, Australia, everywhere around the world. And it's worth $1,000, and we give it to businesses for $50. And the reason we can do that is because all the hotels that are part of the program, they say, look, we're running at 30% vacancy outside of vacation periods. We're happy to give you the hotel rooms for free. If you can give them out to businesses to hand out as a Happy Meal toy when someone buys their products, then we're happy, because these people who come and stay here for free for 3 or 4 or 7 nights, guess what? They spend money on food and beverage. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, in this instance, the reason that something like a voucher for, vacation works is because it's appealing to all ages and both sexes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see. So in this case, businesses would have to come to you and make a deal with you to provide these vouchers to their clients.
So we sell them in batches of 30. So therefore, they actually come to us and they give us, the money. We charge around about $50 for the voucher. And so therefore they actually, provide, they pay us $50 a voucher. We give them 30 or 40 or 50, whatever number of vouchers that they want. And then what they do is that they say, look, use my lawn mowing services for a month and we'll give you a free vacation, or buy my lounge suite and you get a free vacation. So they use the free vacation in exactly the same way as I used it for the bank, except they use it to sell their product or services.
Fantastic. Very cool. So is it only based on incentives, or is there another way to stand out as a small company? And
I mean, really, again, because we're called the Institute of Wow, I guess any wow factor counts. I mean, because we've tried everything under the sun, because I'm 104 years of age and I've been doing this since the 1800s, we've sort of got half a clue of what works and what doesn't. And travel and vacation works because it's appealing to all demographics. If someone said to me, look, buy a motor car and I'll give you a dishwasher, I go, no, I've already got a dishwasher. And if they say, well, buy the motor car and we'll give you a microwave, I go, no, I've already got a microwave. I don't want 2 microwaves. But if I've just come back from Hawaii and you say, buy a car and we'll give you a trip to Hawaii, I can't get enough holidays or vacations. I'll say, thank you very much. You cannot get enough vacations, but you can certainly get enough, washing machines. And so therefore that stands out as number one. Number two is gas discounts, petrol discounts. That is something that is appealing to all ages and both sexes. So if you give someone a fuel voucher, a dining voucher, a movie voucher, all of those things are good, but nothing. I mean, the reason that the Happy Meal toy works is because I know the people who dreamt up the Happy Meal toy, they happen to be Australians, and they live in Trump Tower these days. They've done pretty good out of the Happy Meal toys, but they said to me, look, they produced a toy in China for 22 cents, but when you get it at McDonald's, that toy is valued in Kmart for $4 or $5. So that's when it really works, when the cost of the incentive is very low, but the perceived value is high. And that's why this works. They buy it from us for $50 for a vacation voucher for 3 or 7 nights for $50, but it's worth $1,000. That's when it works.
Some of your clients are small businesses. Like I read a testimonial for somebody who grew their revenue with your help from 100 and something K to 400K in a year. And how did you manage to turn their business around when I assume they didn't have that much upfront capital to invest?
Yeah, generally speaking, because of this wow factor mentality, I mean, it doesn't always have to be a Happy Meal toy style incentive. It can be that, we do a lot of deals with Lloyd's of London, the insurance company, whereby we insure $1 million giveaways. And so therefore, there was a resort, for example, in Fiji that was an older resort, and it didn't have a very good occupancy rate. It was sitting at about 30%. And what we did is that we just gave all the travel agents in Australia, which is where they got most of their business from, and we just said, look, for every night you book someone into this particular resort, you get a ticket into $1 million draw. And of course, when you went to the travel agent in Australia and said, I want to go to Fiji, they'd say, what about we go to the Hilton? And the travel agent would say, no, they got rabies. Oh, well, we'll go to the Sofitel. No, that's got Ebola. Well, where should we go? Well, you should go to the Hideaway Resort. And of course, little did the people know that the reason the travel agency is pushing people into the Hideaway Resort, albeit 25 years old, is because they're getting an entry into the $1 million draw.
Mm-hmm.
And we took the occupancy from that resort from 30% to 100% within a week, and it stayed there for 3 months because of this promotion. I mean, the travel agent's not going to send anyone to any other hotel.
Yeah.
And also, if you book direct, then you as a consumer got a ticket in the $1 million draw for every night that you stayed there. So if you stayed for 10 nights, you got 10 nights. Now, that $1 million we got from Lloyd's of London for around about, I think it was about $22,000.
Mm-hmm.
And how it works is at the end of that 3-month promotion, then a preliminary draw happens and you pull someone out, a travel agent, let's say, and that travel agent gets to choose one of 200 envelopes in the boardroom of the hotel. And in one of those envelopes is the $1 million, and in the other 199 envelopes is a $10,000 check. And so therefore that's how it works. It's basically, deal or no deal, and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and all those TV shows, all those prizes are given away by an insurance company. They're not given away by the TV network.
Oh, how interesting.
So there's all sorts of ways to do that sort of stuff. We have a real winner at the moment. If anyone's interested in just having a look at this, you can swipe the idea from me. You don't have to even give me anything for it. It's a Facebook contest formula where we encourage the business to give away their product or service as a prize for a contest on Facebook or Instagram. And we call it the Facebook contest formula. And basically what happens is that if your product or service, let's just say you're a dentist, we're doing a dentist one at the moment, and you're wanting to sell Invisalign braces, which are the invisible braces, particularly for children, you give one of those away on Facebook as a prize. And then, of course, you might get 1,000 entries. You give one away, but you've got 999 people who just glowed in the dark and said, I've got crooked teeth.
Yeah.
And so if anyone wants to just steal that idea from me, you can just go to fbcontestformula.com. So FB for Facebook, fbcontestformula.com, and you'll see how it works. It's like, I have to say that for all of the years I've been involved in this stuff and have done a lot of the bingo, scratch games and all sorts of things for newspapers, and this is the hottest thing I've ever seen. We're finding that on Facebook, we're getting 35-cent leads for people entering contests for prizes. But instead of those prizes being unrelated to the business, the prize is actually the product or service in the business.
Yeah. So you actually advertise the contest.
Yeah. So, I mean, we had one for, just before Christmas, a company came on board who sells the walking frames for elderly people. So therefore, the walking frames with wheels on them that you see people in shopping centres using if they might have a mobility issue. And as it turned out, we were very sort of skeptical of whether this would work on Facebook because the target audience are in the 70s and 80s. But we put a picture of a man in a walking frame and he was of a certain age group. And we said, how would you like to win a wheelie walker worth $500? Then click here and go through to a landing page where they give their details, and you make sure you pre-qualify them by getting proper details out of them. And then, of course, he got 822 leads in the first week. He wouldn't get that over 3 months. He got 822 leads from people wanting to win the walker frame. He gave one away, but he's got 821 other people who have glowed in the dark and said, I want a walking frame.
Yeah. Does this work only for products or also for services?
It could be services. I mean, I do it myself. I haven't done it for a while because I'm busy enough at the moment. But, over time, I would put a Facebook ad here in Australia and say, look, how would you like to win John Dwyer's marketing consulting services? This is the guy who's worked with Seinfeld and Michael Jordan and 7-Eleven and, all of these other big companies. How would you like to, because, half the people would never heard of me. So you have to put a bit of a bio and you say, how would you like to win a month's worth of consultancy with him worth blump, whatever the dollar amount is. And I will get 100, 200 entries from people who obviously need marketing assistance. I will give one away, but I've got 199 other people who've just put their hand up and said, I want marketing assistance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's pretty straightforward, but the interesting thing is that it's as simple as, but it's one of those things that perhaps people just don't think of. It's a really, really simple formula. You just simply give away your product or service and you will attract red hot leads.
You have a book where you've documented your top approaches, your top strategies.
Because I'm a show-off and an idiot, when I was asked to write a book, because when you do the seminar circuit, apparently you're expected to write a book. So I thought, if I'm called the Institute of Wow.com, I better make it something stupid. So it's ridiculous. I know if you're listening to this, you can't see what I'm holding up, but if you're watching on video, This is a 300-page book, which is the size of a tabloid newspaper. So it's about a third of your desktop. Okay, so it's ridiculous. And inside the 300 pages, it's called the Wow Manifesto. And inside the 300 pages are pretty much the last 15 years of my existence and all of the winning direct response campaigns. I didn't put the losing ones in there. I thought it'd be smart to keep them out. So it's a pretty good swipe file, and yeah. So if you're looking for a coffee, I can't give you the book because the book is leather bound and it's got gold tip edges, and I think it's $420 to print. But I can give you the digital version if you're interested in that. My name is John Dwyer, but I get JD. So you just go to a website called getmorejd.com. How sick is that? That makes me throw up. But anyway, when my wife heard me come up with that URL, she just rolled her eyes and said, "Oh, you are an idiot." So if you just go to getmorejd.com, not only would you be able to get your hands on this, but you can also have a free Zoom call with me. And of course, there's a method to my madness. I know that if you have a Zoom call with me, I will close 1 out of 3. I know the stats. So that's why when you're running a business and you're giving away freebies, make sure you know what the statistics are. So if you want this and you want to have a chat with me, it's getmorejd.com.
Who is likely to have a chat with you? What kind of people are you currently attracting? What kind of businesses?
People who are really, they've got too much money and they want to meet me at the back of the shelter shed with a brown paper bag with lots of cash. That's the sort of person I'm after. Yeah, no, seriously, anybody who's basically got a business and they're finding that perhaps their Facebook ads and their Instagram ads and their LinkedIn ads are not working at the moment. Or if they're, using old school, their TV ads and their newspaper ads are not working. I mean, I've been around the block a few times. So really at the end of the day, I've pretty much covered A to Z. I haven't done a Z, but pretty much anything between A and Z I've done. So if you've got a business and you're finding that you've got to always drop your price, which is something you don't want to do, and you might be interested in using some of this wow factor mentality, which means you don't drop your price. In fact, you can increase it. Yeah, that's probably worth a chat.
Are there any changes in the recent 1-2 years with the introduction of AI to this methodology? Has it influenced you in any way?
It has. In fact, we've set up our own AI robot service. Although I'm a baby boomer, so therefore some would refer to me as an old fart. I have got all the 30-somethings around me that do all this stuff for me. I guess I'm the ideas guy still, but they do what I ask them to do for me. So we've set up an AI robot service now to not only answer the phone for businesses, but also sell for businesses. So, if you happen to be a trades business, for example, electrician or plumber or, a solar operator, you're on the roof or you've got your hands down the toilet, you can't answer the phone. And so what we've done is we've set up what we call an AI genie service whereby a robot, he or she, answers the phone and has a conversation about whatever the person's business is. So the robot gets trained on the company's website. So therefore the AI robot knows everything about the business. So it's all knowledge based. And so therefore, for all intents and purposes, we've tested it. 78% of people think they're talking to a human. They don't care that if they did know it was a robot, but by the same token, it's so good that 78% of people think they're talking to a human. And what happens is that the robot basically answers any question they have. For example, if it's electrical services, you would ring up and say, look, I want 3 ceiling fans and I want an air conditioner. The robot will say, well, thank you very much. And would you want the ceiling fans in 3 different rooms? Yes. The air conditioner, would that be in the lounge room? Yes. Okay, well, what's your name? And if you can give me your address, then we'll have someone out to see you at 3 o'clock tomorrow. So the whole thing is looked after while the electrician is on the roof of the house putting in a solar system. And what we've found is that the amount of revenue it adds to the businesses is incredible because they're not missing out on any calls. Previously, they might have had a Filipino call center answering their phones, but one company told me recently, a trades company, they used to get 100 calls a day when it was a hot day because they were air conditioning specialists, and they would have an abandoned 40 calls, which meant, only 60 out of the 100 were being answered. The fact that our robot now answers 100% of the 100 calls has added $15,000 profit to his business every week.
Is this something you developed in-house or you
Yep.
got
Look, we've been down the rabbit hole for 8 months and we've just launched it, would you believe, in this last week. So therefore it's only brand new. But what we did is we had some very good guinea pigs or crash test dummies, whatever you want to call them. So therefore, we had a good number of businesses that we gave it to for free so that we could see exactly what was happening. And if anyone's interested in having a look at that, go to aiengagegenie.com. So if you go to aiengagegenie, that's GENI, .com, you'll see it there. And in fact, you can do a test call and play with it yourself and see how good it is.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I'm glad that you asked that question, though, Zren, is that really, if you don't I mean, what we found is that small business owners, they don't want to learn how to do the AI stuff themselves. I mean, they know about ChatGPT, but they don't want to get into the voice communications themselves because I can assure you, having sunk a lot of money into going through this, it's a deep, deep hole. And it's pretty expensive. So therefore, we decided instead of training people how to do it themselves, just do it for them. Because at the end of the day, I mean, we only charge $297 a month for us to have an AI receptionist look after all their phone calls. And if you take into account that that robot is 24/7, doesn't get sick, doesn't go for a smoke, doesn't basically have a bad mood, and doesn't stop for lunch, then really you've got a 24-hour-a-day phone receptionist. And for $297 a month, if you divide 30 days into near enough 300, then basically it's $10 a day. You couldn't get a human for that.
Yeah. I'm also using a CRM system with an AI chat option. I think it also has a voice option, but I have to set it up. But I know that even setting it up it takes a lot of time and effort. So
we know how the 30-something geniuses under me hate me because every time I ask them, well, can you make sure the robot answers faster and quicker? It's what they call latency. So therefore, when you ask a question of the robot, it's got to scour through your website to get the answer, and it would do it within a second. But of course, typical entrepreneur, my personality is ready, fire, aim. So therefore, I'm saying to these techie guys, no, I want the robot to answer the question quicker. So if the person says, oh, look, can you tell me what brand of air conditioners you sell? Then there might be a half a second wait before the robot comes back to you. And of course, me being a tyrant, I'm saying, look, I don't want it to be half a second. I want it to be a quarter of a second. And we disguise any latency by the robot tapping away at a keyboard. So therefore, if you said, oh, what brand of air conditioners do you sell? You'll hear tap, 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 whilst basically giving you the impression that the lady who you're talking to is checking up on the computer, but it's really giving the robot time to get through your website and come back with the answer, right? And every time I ask for something and they go, look, that is impossible at the moment. And maybe in another 3 months' time. And I keep on saying to them, we put man on the moon 50 years ago. Surely you can do this. They hate me. They hate me.
Isn't it advisable actually to add more latency to the robot answering so that it seems more human?
No, we've got it down pretty pat now. If anyone wants to go to aiengagegenie.com, you can actually then have a test call yourself, and you'll see it's pretty good. I mean, we've been dealing with this now for 8 months and launching it last week. We're pretty happy with what we've got. It'll get better. There's no question it'll get better, but really the conversation, unless you are really up to speed, then we know we've done the research. 78% of the people who have been calling the ones that we've put together, 78% of the people think it's a human. Yeah. So that's how good it is. And like you can program it to be silly. If you want it to have a Chevy Chase humor, you can program the robot to be sarcastic. If you want it to be more corporate because it happens to be, I don't know, an accountancy style business, then it can be more corporate. It can be male, it can be female, it can be different age groups. So the great thing with this is that it's mad, it's scary, it's so good.
Yeah, fantastic. John, I know it's a beer time for you in Australia. What gives you the kick other than beer time?
Look, I think probably, I mean, look, I don't want to be corny because everybody who gets asked that question, they all talk about their family is their most, treasured possession. So I won't go down that path because all of us say that. But I think probably in my instance, the reason I'm still doing this sort of stuff is because my kids will say to me, who are all millennials, Dad, why are you still doing this? And I'll say, well, I don't play golf. I don't do jigsaws. I don't do crosswords. So what the hell am I going to do if I was to throw this in? And I think I just enjoy the thrill of seeing some of these things not work, but work really fast. So, for example, that fbcontestformula.com, if anyone goes there, you can swipe it. You don't have to use us, just swipe the idea. I can almost guarantee, I can't guarantee because you might be wearing an ankle bracelet for all I know, but I can almost guarantee that if you go down the path of holding that contest on Facebook, it's pretty hard for you not to double your income within a week. And that's the big thing, is that it's all very fine to have successes, and we all love having a success. But the brilliant thing about direct response marketing, as opposed to branding and sponsoring the local football team and the Olympics, the good thing about direct response marketing is that you can do something on Facebook or Instagram today and you can double your income tomorrow if you get it right.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic advice. Once again, what's the website for people getting in touch with you and downloading your book, The Manifesto?
Yep, it's my name is John Dwyer, so therefore I get called JD and lots of other bad names from people, but it's a website which is getmorejd.com.
Yeah, it's really memorable.
And as I said, when I came up with it, which was only a few months ago, my wife just shook her head. She just said, "Oh my God, you just are such a show off." I said, "Gail, people who are after a marketing consultant do not want an accountancy mindset. They want someone who is a show off."
Yeah. I enjoyed our talk so much, John. Thank you. Anything else that I've missed asking you that you want to share?
No. Well, look, one thing that people do ask me at the end of some of these podcasts, because I do a few of them, is that, what sort of advice would you give any entrepreneur? Because, you may have some younger people, listening or watching your podcast too. And the only reason I bring this up is because it's, I guess, just part of the recipe that I end a lot of these interviews with. They say, look, what sort of advice would you give to anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur? And I'll say, look, don't make the same mistake that I did, because in my 20s, I hung around people who kept on saying to me, "Oh, why? Why would you do that? Why would you do this?" And, when you're in your 20s, you have some crazy ideas that are not backed up by logic. They're just crazy ideas. Whereas now, of course, when you lose a few dollars from time to time with crazy ideas that weren't backed up with science, these days, most of the ideas that I play with have got some sort of backing behind them, like logic or science. But I used to hang around and I'd come up with ideas, and I had these people who were more left-brained. They were more operationally or accountancy minded, and they go, "Oh, why? Why, JD? Why would you do that, JD? Why?" And I just got sick of it. And around about my early to mid-30s, I woke up to myself, knowing that you are the average of the 5 or 6 people you hang around with. I started to hang around with crazy people who said, "Why not?" They didn't say why.
Yeah.
Every time you come up with a crazy idea, like the Facebook contest formula, for example, these people go, "Oh, why not? Yeah, give that a shot." And the beaut thing is now with, online marketing, you don't have to throw a lot of money at something to find out whether it works. In the instance of that walking frame guy, when he ran that contest on Facebook, he only spent $40 a day by 7 days. He got 822 leads. So when he said to me, "Look, we can't handle 822 leads every week," I said, "Well, spend $20 a day. Don't spend 40. Just spend half of it, you get 400 leads. Yeah. And he said, "Well, I couldn't handle 400 leads." So, okay, moron. I mean, I don't know how you've got a business if you can't handle 400 leads, but just spend $10 a day and you will get 200 leads, you idiot. And so therefore, the thing is that these days I hang around, doesn't matter what age they are, I hang around people who say, "Oh, why not?" And so therefore, every time you come up with a crazy idea, most of the people that I hang with, if you're having a beer with them or you're having a dinner or lunch with them, you'll come up with the next crazy idea. And the great thing is they go, "Why not?" And please, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to go places, hang around why nots.
Oh, fantastic advice. I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
All the best.
Thank you for listening to Grow and Learn. We hope that you found our podcast informative, engaging, and inspiring. Our mission is to help you keep growing and learning, and we hope that our conversations and insights have provided you with practical advice and useful perspectives. If you're looking for personalized support and guidance to help you achieve your personal or professional growth objectives, I offer a range of services to help. As a trusted management partner and mentor, I work with businesses in the process of transformation, looking for new streams of business, as well as M&A. With an extensive professional network of experts and mentors, I can bring on board the right person or team based on the specific needs of the company I'm working with. To learn more about the services I offer and how I can help you achieve your goals, please visit my website at grownlearn.org. You can also reach out to me via email or social media. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this episode of Grow and Learn, Please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback is important to us and it helps us to continue to create content that is relevant and valuable to our listeners. Thanks again for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights and perspectives with you in the future.